Right, welcome back. Let's have a chat about the appeal process. Now, some of you might have gone through the interview process, or there could be some other decisions, but let's focus on the decision that was made after your application for professional registration. It was rejected or whatever the case might be, and you find yourself in a position where you feel and know and have the facts to support your appeal against the decision that was made by the panelists. Now, before we even start, you need to know that I believe most of the interviews are recorded, so you will have some kind of factual trail that ECSA could pull out and have a look at your specific case. Be that as it may, you still have to go through certain processes. And shall we have a look at the detail when it comes to this appeals process? Number one, you need to make sure your facts are straight. You need to get all the information and your ducks in a row. This is not a feeling exercise. You can't state, I felt like they were discriminating against me. I felt that they don't know what they're talking about, or I feel this, or I feel that. There's no room for it. These are facts. I was discriminated against in the following aspects. So make sure your ducks are in a row and make sure you save a lot of money, because it's going to cost you a few bucks over and above the appeal process with ECSA. You also need to appoint somebody that will represent you, and these things usually come at a cost. So let's have a look at it. You have got a time limit on this, and your time limit is 30 days. So within 30 days of becoming aware of the decision that was made and you're not happy with, and when I say not happy with, I mean your facts in a row and you cannot stand for this. Something needs to happen. So 30 days. I do recommend, however, that if you do your application and during the interview process, the interviewers treated you unfairly, asked ridiculous questions, I don't know, there's a whole host of these things that one can label. It must be a written appeal, so therefore, within those 30 days that you became aware of the problem or the decision that was made, then you need to lodge a written appeal. Now, your appeal must be in writing, and it must include the following: the grounds for your appeal, the basis for your appeal, all relevant arguments and information in support of your appeal needs to feature there. Any supporting documentation that will help as annexures. Then, after you've done that, you need to upfront first pay the fee. The fee is 8,988 Rand. So make sure that you've got that money, you've got it available, and that you've got the buffer to pay the individual that will be looking after your interests and representing you. I don't think it's wise for you to do it on your own. Then you have to address the appeal to the CEO of ECSA. There's a specific email address for that, and it's called legal@co.za. And then, after you've submitted your written appeal, then ECSA will do the following. The relevant committee will be appointed. So the CEO will then submit the appeal along with all the documentation to the relevant committee for their review. So the committee's comments will then be incorporated. They will examine everything. They will look at all of the documentations that were submitted, and then they will give feedback to the CEO. Now, the appeals committee looks like this. The CEO will appoint the appeals committee to hear the case. The appeal committee then will make a decision, and they will base that decision on all the relevant information that was submitted. As I said, they will review it and make their recommendations. The recommendations will go back to the council. Then the council will make a decision based on the recommendations, and they will have a final outcome which they will communicate to you. So it's important to note that the council will notify the decision provided to them by the committee through to you again. So you'll have the outcome, and they will also give you a proper explanation of what they base that decision on. All right, it's also important to note that the chairperson can and have the right for a casting vote, which means if the panelists are not all in agreement, then the chairperson can always, I don't want to say override, but can cast the swaying vote, for lack of a better word. If you want to get more information on that, I've got the documents available from ECSA on the detailed process, but it's similar to what I'm giving you here. So if you want to find out more, ECSA's website, you can contact me and I can help you with that as well. In summary, the appeal process is a rather unpleasant process. If you want to go through it, please make sure that you've got your ducks in a row, that everything that you submit is valid and that it will strengthen your case. Make sure you've got disposable cash in hand to take ECSA on the specific decision that they have made. If you were horribly treated during the interview process, please do it immediately. Don't wait for 30 days. It is always good, of course, to find out first. You could feel like you were mistreated, perhaps, but you still get your professional registration. So maybe you should consider that as well. Then you have to go through the process. But that said, there were candidates in the past that did appeal, and they did win the appeal case. So that's the appeal process in a nutshell. Please shout if you need more help with that. Hopefully we don't have to go down this road, but at least you know now that there is recourse for the decisions that ECSA makes.